Hi, hello, happy Sabbath and Shabbat Shalom. Starting the greenhouse this week. Not a major amount of improvement in here, just a little bit of growth with the grapefruit trees. My little potatoes are growing. Hopefully they'll live long enough to do something good. A lot of the stuff that I normally would be overseeing, which needs to be going outside pretty soon, is pretty much it's growing just a little bit. The avocado trees and the pineapples. Of course, the fan is in, cooling everything. The large cactus is growing. Some of the small cacti that Mom have gotten recently are growing. So the elephant garlic that she's hoping to get something out of. The spindly pear is getting along, I suppose. I don't remember what this is. I think it's a herb of some kind. I really don't remember. She got a bunch of mums this past week, which she's putting in with peppers and stuff. We'll see some more of them once we go outside. This is a hyacinth that was discounted because it was knocked over and broken. She got that, and it was still growing, although she cut the flowers off because they'd pretty much done their thing. So, and that wasn't because, she didn't like the flowers, it's just they were wilting, and so she cleaned it up. That'll probably end up going outside somewhere and being propagated. There's at least 3 plants in there now, and they'll get around if you put them outside somewhere. She had repotted, I don't remember if this was done last time, but she repotted some of the aloe vera. Still got a few more to go. In fact, they're already putting in new growth already. Just filling in the empty space in the pot as fast as you clean them. So pretty aggressive little growers once they start growing. Of course, so all the babies are still the same number that we had last time. And, well, we've gotten enough rain recently that we've got some pretty decent, pretty decent field growth. Mr. Snookums is doing alright in here, I suppose. Yes, Mr. Snookums, what you doing? Yes, Mr. Snookums, how you doing? He just wants to get him some goodies, I'm sure, and eat my fingers. Okay, so the field here, again, without having the babies in it in mass, it's getting some growth on. A lot of the winter rye is about done. It's put seeds on, and pretty soon we'll have a lot of Bermuda grass and fescue come in there. Of course, this grass has come out intentionally of hayseed that I've poured out here, and it's growing really good. The grapevines are getting along and putting on flowers. I missed a couple weeks of Sabbath reports because the fact that it was the holy days when we were gone. So, but like, Mom got some citronella plants here, hopefully to repel bugs, and so hopefully that'll work. And then this strawberry plants, it's got a little baby on here that needs to be potted, a little runner. As you can see, it's already trying to make fruit of its own, and I've had pretty good luck. Most of the fruit's been surviving long enough to get to the eating stage. Over here, see lots of nice little wildflowers growing in here where the babies haven't been devouring it to the ground. And coming over here, lots and lots and lots and lots of flowers on this one, but unfortunately this one just tends to not produce any fruit. Sadly, the celery completely died. I put in a yellow raspberry that was doing badly, but it went ahead and died. Mom's got some tomato plants potted there on Mom's. Tomorrow I'll be pulling a bit of this wood and tin out of here and putting it over there by the well pump project, and we'll be moving in some steel bathtubs here, and on the opposite side of the building over here against this wall we will put another steel bathtub over here and plant things in it, whatever we put in there. Of course, all this plumbing stuff will hopefully end up being used, not all of it, but a large portion of it, in the process of putting in the well house. I got a little bit of work done on the well house project. Not eminently obvious. Again, I don't even remember how much was visible last time I posted a Sabbath report. Was out here welding on the rebar, and the welder is in the truck because it started raining on me. But I've got most of the rebar in. I've got some spots you'll see where it's not uniformly gridded in. I have to go in there and grid that in and weld and tie. I got places where I have to, where it comes up against an obstruction in the center, I've got to add short pieces, which I have some over there. I'll add short pieces in there to make up the difference across through the middle, and then I'll prop them up with some small rocks, and I'll get ready to safety this with the planks. And that's pretty much, when that's all set up and stabilized, then I'll have the well company come in and swap out the old well system for the new one. And again, really sloppy, boogery weld jobs, but no, that's just me. I'm no good at it. But it'll be a good slab of concrete with rebar in the middle, whereas the other one had none whatsoever. It was a pretty shoddy slab of concrete too. The gentians over here, they seem to have so far not been devoured by anything. Hopefully again they'll make flowers this fall. There's more of them over here than I thought, and hopefully they'll be more flowery this year than in the past. I don't know. We've had pretty good flowers this year, but this has been the spring season. Unfortunately, hasn't been great for all of the flowers, as we shall get into here after a bit. I'm going to try to make this fairly brief because I don't want to make a very long report. I'm sure most people get tired of seeing the same old every time anyhow. The road destructors came through, the road grader guy, and I asked him to work with me on this turnout. He did a pretty good job. He went in here with his blade and really cut a good bunch of the dirt out of there, made that deeper, which is going to be pretty good for me. I'll end up pulling that rock out of there and using it somewhere else, but it was just in the ground anyhow. But he went through here, and it's rained since then, but he went and sliced it as far as you can see on there with the blade of his grader, which will help control a lot of the water that goes into the shop. So, on to irises. There's like one or two straggling last still surviving white irises. I say surviving, and not that they're dying, they're not, obviously. But anyhow, the last of the white irises come up, almost all of them. In fact, I missed when this was fully in its full glory, just loaded with white irises. But as you can see, the blue irises, the initial wild blue iris is coming up all across the park area. And so they'll be out for a couple weeks before they do their whole blooming, but they're not the only thing in here, of course. This little mint-like plant is doing pretty good, whatever it is specifically. And then there are lots of sorrel in here coming down through here. Something you may or may not recognize easily, this porcelain berry. The branch it was on broke, so it is closer to the ground now. But it's going to put on little flowers, not very remarkable flowers, but it's put on, and it'll put on its colorful little fruit for a while. The wild blackberry, the tame blackberry, the tame blackberry is putting on some flowers, as are the little either lentils or vetch, whichever it is. So I hope it is lentils. So I sure put a lot of them in there. There's another little flower that I don't know the name of. And then these little critters, they seem to shift around. I don't know if it's because they have a short lifespan or what. And again, the wild blackberries, raspberries are, well, I'm brain dead, ain't I? Wild raspberries are putting on fruit. Their flowers are very unremarkable. Looks like that looks like that's a redbud flower falling down off a tree. Oh well. Late bloomers. So, coming down over here, there's a couple of other different these really pretty mixed color two-tone irises right here. There's a Dusty Miller. There's a light yellow and a powdery yellow iris. More of the dark blue irises. There's some sad news to announce here. We're not going to get any blooms off of the peony this year because Mr. O'Malley came along and happened to the peony. And he stripped it of all of its leaves and all of its flowers. So, you'll be lucky to survive. These golden irises over here are looking really nice. It's not still in full bloom. It's already kind of gotten past that, but kind of really pretty. The baby's breath, of course, has already completed its spring ritual of blooming, and so it's done. But the bridal wreath is still blooming, to my surprise. These little purple things haven't flowered yet, but falling and killing myself. So the bridal wreath is still put on some flowers yet. This is getting a good angle of the field from down here to where you can see the irises. One day, hopefully, it'll be much better. Much better. there's a plant over here that has not bloomed in, well, nearly a decade since the goats ate it off to the ground. And I was wondering if it would ever even survive after that. But I had protected it. Getting in here to it so we can get up close, because I haven't even been up this close to it myself. And I figure although I could see it from a distance, the camera wouldn't really be able to make out much of anything. So this thing makes little brilliant little sparkly star looking little flowers, and it's finally put some on after many years of, after the goats ate it off to the ground. So hopefully it'll do well, and if it does, well, everybody will be happy that it makes a pretty flower. Again, I haven't seen it, and I don't even know the name of the plant yet. Haven't seen it flower in, like I say, near a decade now. And so whatever it's called, I'd like to move it. In fact, that is part of my goal eventually, is get in here with the track loader, very carefully get it lifted up and out of the place it is, put it somewhere, a place better suited for it. And to do that, I also need to know if there actually is a place better suited for it, or if it's already in the best place it could be. You'd never know if you didn't know plants, what a plant really needed. Pretty much, that's most of the flowers. These, there are a couple of black dewberries. The cherries have pretty much set. The wild black cherries have set, and they'll put on a little fruit. There'll be some red clover here, not a lot. Of course, the asparagus, which doesn't really make a flower, don't get me wrong, it's got flowers on it right now. They just don't look like anything. So, pretty much, all the plums have already flowered. Whether they've set fruit or not, I don't know. I haven't gotten up close to inspect them to see if they set any fruit. Usually they don't successfully fruit very much. There's a late blooming red bud right there, one little bitty couple blossoms on a chopped up red bud that I think I pruned it some or something, not for sure. Didn't prune it to make it bloom, I just pruned it so it'd be out of my way. So pretty soon, let's see, there's a few daisies in here. Pretty soon there's going to be a bunch of echinacea come up, and other flowers will cover this hill in flowers. Dog's bane. The verbena in there is just about done for the spring, but it'll keep going till it's just too hot. I don't know if there are any orange cocoon left. We'll do that, check that, and if so, great. But either way, that'll be the end of the report, because there's really nothing else to report on. Again, no changes in the shop. Didn't do anything in there at all in many weeks, so not much to see there. See, here's some echinacea right here, coneflowers. There we go. So here we go, a little bit of more orange cocoons they're growing along pretty good this year. They're really doing quite an example, and they're surviving the deer because they're back in a corner where nobody can get to them. I guess I can point out that this plant is about to open up too, so it should be in full bloom pretty soon. And I don't know about any gladiolas. There's some gladiolas right there. Well, I don't know how I remembered them today. Gladiolas, sometimes I remember them, sometimes I don't. So, hopefully they'll bloom. I think these are gladiolas too, but they're not doing extremely greatly, but they're doing. So yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that's been going on. Very little bit of work on the well house, and some flowers pretty much. Mr. O'Malley getting out and destroying the peony, but hopefully not destroying it, just maybe a little setback for the year. We shall see. The crepe myrtle has sprouted some green leaves, but it hasn't anywhere near flowering. I don't even know if it will flower, but it did. And of course, the rose of Sharon is greened out, and it'll flower like crazy for a while. But that's pretty much it. I'm out of things to talk about this week. Really not much of nothing's been happening. Besides, we've been gone, and I've been sick, so not a lot's been happening. So until next time, that's it for this report.